All right, we are live. 10 seconds. Is it Ruba? Cuba? What does it say? What's the song?
Well, it's called Cuba.
That doesn't sound like Cuba. 3, 2. All right. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning somewhere out there in the world. You're listening to Nuestra Comunidad NWI, AM 1370 and 92.7 FM, the region's choice and the people's voice. It's 2 minutes after the hour and it is Friday. Oh, it says fire. That's the song. I'm just changing it to Friday. It is a good God day. We're here and we must celebrate every moment and not take any moment for granted. Bienvenidos, buenas tardes, mi gente. Feliz mes de la herencia hispana. Hispanidad, perdón. Tenemos algunos anuncios. We have some announcements and we do have a special guest coming on. So I highly encourage you to tune in. She will be calling in from Texas, all the way from Texas. And I was going to wear my shirt. It says 40 Days for Life. Many of you in this region are not very familiar with what 40 Days of Life is about. And many of you are actually pro-life. Many of you are pro-choice. But I'll just publicly say I am pro-life. And we've discussed this topic at several times throughout our almost 15 years. The views expressed by the host and the callers of this show are not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio Management, owners and sponsors, and advertisers. We do have a guest, as I mentioned, coming up, and this is Ramonia Trevino. She is a former Planned Parenthood Manager and 40 Days for Life Director of Outreach. So we must listen in, tune in, and learn a few things on 92.7 FM, 1370 AM, or Facebook Live on Nuestra Comunidad's page, as we are live on Juan's X, right? Mm-hmm. And also on WLTHradio.com and live on Facebook, Miriam Williams WLTH page. So, and our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is fairly new. So subscribe to it. Go to Nuestra Comunidad NWI and subscribe to it. Juanito, I know you have some announcements, so go for it. Adelante, Juanito. ¿Cómo estás?
Okay, I'm good. So, tomorrow is Saturday, September the 20th, and tomorrow in East Chicago City Hall Chambers at 4525 Indianapolis Boulevard from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock is the Town Hall public event hosted by Earl L. Harris, Jr., State Representative, alongside with members of the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus. So everyone is welcome to hear what they have to say, and of course, take notes and be able to ask questions. So that's tomorrow, September.
Do you ever get any information on other parties that they have their own whatchamajigger town halls or whatnot?
I mean, everyone has an opportunity to do.
I just asked a question. Do you ever get that information about other parties? You know, town hall, it's always Democrat. We got to talk, there's a group here about
the email would have to be sent to me. That's how I get these, okay? So if I don't subscribing to other parties, then I'm not going to be getting the information.
So
I don't go looking. No, whatever's sent to me, whatever's sent to me, then I'll choose to advertise.
Okay.
So like I said, we're not on the air on Saturdays anymore, but I do want to say to Ms. Edna Irene Nieves de Jesus, tomorrow she will be celebrating her first birthday in heaven. She would have been tomorrow, mañana sábado, 76 years of age. So happy birthday tomorrow in advance to Edna Irene Nieves de Jesus in heaven. Also, I guess, actually, next Saturday, September the 27th, at the Area Career Center in Hammond, Indiana, you got the HHCC of Northern Indiana. They will be having their Latino Resource Fair, I think first time at the Area Career Center.
No, it's not their first time.
Not at the Area Career Center?
We've had it
before?
We've had it there before, but it's the first time changing it from October to September.
Right. Okay.
It's usually September. October, the first Saturday of October.
So one way or the other, next Saturday, September the 27th, Hammond Hispanic Community Committee of Northern Indiana will be having their Latino Resource Fair, which is a family event, which is a free event, entertainment, music, comida, and many vendors promoting colleges, universities, promoting government agencies, promoting non-for-profits, and so forth. Everyone is welcome. Also, please mark your calendars. This is what we were supposed to have this event, I think, on August the 2nd. It ended up being postponed. So Indiana Filmmakers Network, Northwest Indiana presents Entertainment Industry Speaker Series 2025. Celebrate Animation. Save the date, ladies and gentlemen. November the 15th, which is a Saturday. And the time is going to be different from what is on the flyer right now for the save the date flyer. But we will be having Mr. Greg Manwaring, AMPA's voting member of Greg Manwaring, started his career as an animator in the entertainment industry 38 years ago. He helped create 2 Oscar-winning films along the way, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and The Lion King, and continues to selectively animate from time to time, most recently on Fixed and Iggy. So he will be live and in person at the main library in Maryville, right off of US 30, right off of Taft Street on November the 15th. He will be our featured speaker, live and in person. He actually lives in Lake County, Indiana. So this will be taking place at the Maryville branch of Lake County Public Library, 1919 81st Avenue, Maryville, Indiana, 46410. There is going to be 3 free cash raffles to be drawn that day. And all we ask to our public, and we're going to hope we have a lot of public attending this event, you can RSVP starting now at nwi.filmmakers@gmail.com. So RSVP, send us your name, how many people are coming, and actually the names of those people at nwi.filmmakers@gmail.com. You can start RSVPing right now so we can know how many people are coming. More information about this future shows and on our Facebook page and also on my X account. So Something Wicked is coming soon. Call for vendors now accepting. I'm not going to read all of this because I think there's another flyer that I didn't get to print out. So one way or the other, mark your calendar for, all right, October the 21st, 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's going to be vendors, and we're looking for vendors. We'll have some more information at the next show, also on Facebook. If interested, a food item donation is required. Space is limited. Come share your information with filmmakers, students, faculty, and general public. Be a part of something different in our region. Network and learn about the new organization, IFN, NWI, and more. It's going to be taking place at the Calumet College of St. Joseph at 2400 New York Avenue in Whiting, Indiana. For more information, contact that's Martin Zuniga at MZODARTIST magazine at AOL.com. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget about the class of 1975, 50 year of life, love, and laughter, October the 17th and October the 18th. More information, you can call Miss Donna Lucero at 219-689-8526. And on that note, I'll turn it back.
Okay, all righty. We also have quite a few other events that are happening in East Chicago. Of course, I love my East Chicago. Thank you so much, Unión Benéfica Mexicana, for giving me the opportunity to be the announcer, and ECTV. Shout out to ECTV, Jasmine and Malcolm and the new team that's come on. And we wish Steve Segura, much, much, much success with now coming to my hometown, which is Gary, Indiana. He will be working in the city with the mayor, the new administration. So congratulations, Steve Segura. We're going to miss you. Actually, we missed you this past Sunday on the parade. Te extrañamos, Steve. Gracias a la Unión Benéfica y a ECTV por permitirme ser un año más de su anunciadora de el desfile. And it's a natural thing, go English to Spanish, Spanish to English, like real quick, like this, because that's how my brain's been working for years. So gracias, fue muy divertido. Lo mismo con el Festival de la Monarca. No sé si estas eran mis últimas veces que voy a estar aquí. I don't know if this was my last time being here, unless I happen to be invited and have to be flown in. Juanito, there's something you did not mention. October 30th. What's going to happen October 30th? That's a special date for us. What is that?
Okay, so
bring your mic a little closer.
Okay. October 30th is during the week. the day before Halloween, but
it's Thursday night. People go out.
Thursday night. So
Yeah.
it will be
They call on Friday.
What is it? 15th year.
15th anniversary
of doing Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana.
Imagínate cuánto aguantamos.
Only on WLTH Radio. So you can
sí, vamos a cumplir 15 años de aniversario de estar aquí en nuestra comunidad Northwest Indiana, WLTH, THM 1370 AM, 92.7 FM y claro, radicando en las redes sociales, al igual WLTHradio.com. 15 años, imagínate, Juanito, 15 years. Who would have thunk it, right? That we'd be here this long?
Yep.
Wow. So we are celebrating. So save the date, October 30th. The flyer should be coming out hopefully early in the week, if not the weekend. We're doing our best. I have been very busy because that's also going to be a farewell to me. Right, Juanito? After 50 years of being in the region, I'm sure this is a surprise to the majority of you of the community, but we are inviting the community to join and celebrate 15 years with us. 15 years don't come in easy. And I thank Juan for holding on that long and having this show as long as it has been. We've had our ups and downs, ins and outs as everybody, but you know, we enjoy what we do, and it's mainly to bring information to you all from the left, from the right, to the middle, and the center, from each way. We're here to educate you in some form or fashion. We've been informing you. We've been empowering you. I love empowering my people, my women. I love empowering people as a whole. I'm a lover of all, well-rounded individuals. So the Lord has wanted me to move cross country. And so, yeah, that will be my farewell. So don't get so happy, people, because I'm coming back. Right. Así es que vamos a celebrar 15 años de nuestro aniversario el 30 de octubre. Así es que manténganse informados aquí con nosotros para darles la información en dónde y a qué horas. We are expecting a guest to be calling in, but also East Chicago Library is celebrating on the 25th Hispanic Heritage Month. So I will be announcing that towards the end as well. And we have our guest calling in already. All right. Go ahead. You're on the air. This is Ramona Trevino. I am good. Thank you for taking the time of your busy schedule to educate us somewhat. I was blessed to have met you at the 40 Days of Life campaign in Texas, in Houston, Texas, last month. So it was to me a treat to learn all the information that I did. And I think it behooves of us to share this information with the region and beyond. Thank you once again for coming on.
Yeah, so did you want me to just go ahead and just share a little bit about 40 Days for Life with the listening audience?
If you can just bear with me, because you are actually part of some history, and I am encouraging people to watch the movie. And, you know, the day before the event, Chaplain Kathleen Camarena and I watched the movie Unplanned, and I've encouraged people to watch it so they know the story of the 40 Days of Life. And so I'm intrigued to hear more of your story, because you were on the other side, right? And so for those of you that are tuning in, Ramona Trevino is the former Planned Parenthood Manager and now is on the other side with the 40 Days for Life as a Director of Outreach. Tell us a bit more about you, Ramona. Where are you from, and what moves you that you were first in Planned Parenthood and now you're not?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can imagine, that is probably one of the most common questions I've gotten asked over the years is, how did you end up at Planned Parenthood, and how did you end up on the other side, right?
Right.
So I am born and raised here in Texas. So my hometown is a small little rural town called Trenton, Texas, which is just about an hour northeast of Dallas. I was born in Dallas. I am Hispanic, so Mexican roots. Great-grandparents immigrated here from Mexico, and I've been in my town ever since. So our family's been here a little over 100 years now, and still in my hometown. And I was a teen mom, so I became pregnant at 15 years old, had my daughter, said yes to life, never had any issues with ever even contemplating abortion. You know, my parents never, tried to pressure me into it or anything like that. I was in an abusive relationship with the father of my daughter, and really had a hard time for about eight years of my life, just struggling with that relationship. And finding the courage ultimately to get out of it and face life as a single mom. And then I ended up meeting my now husband of 19 years, and we were married, and we have together 6 beautiful children, ages ranging from 7 to 30, and we have a beautiful little granddaughter who is 5 years old. And so it's just been quite a journey, especially when you take into consideration that along the way, I ended up working for Planned Parenthood and accepted a position managing a Planned Parenthood referral facility in Sherman, Texas, which was part of the affiliate that included the Dallas and Fort Worth area.
Wow. So what, if anything, have you experienced, or did you actually witness things at the Planned Parenthood that now you're like, wow, I can't believe I was part of that?
Yeah. So, I think with my particular journey and story, it's not really that uncommon because I worked at an abortion referral facility. So the way that a lot of Planned Parenthoods are set up is that there are the locations that do the abortions. And in Texas, it was like this a lot. It was very common in Texas. And you probably would find it elsewhere in other states as well, where you had kind of like a main location that did the abortions, performed the abortions. And then you had other quote unquote family planning service, Planned Parenthood family planning clinics that they didn't perform the abortions there, but they referred the women to the, bigger city, if you will, or the inner city to obtain their abortions. And so that's how our particular affiliate was set up and organized, in that you had 2 surgical centers in Dallas and Fort Worth, and then they had about 25, 26 referral facilities. And so that is really how I justified working for Planned Parenthood, is that, under this impression of, well, we don't perform abortions. I don't have to deal directly with abortion, and therefore what I'm doing is not any different than a gynecologist's office, right? Except for that's not true. And what I came to realize is, there's a lot of unethical things that happen within the walls of Planned Parenthood. The other thing that people have to consider, when they think about these Planned Parenthood family planning centers, is that they are really designed to help create a market for abortion, but their only goal is to continue to send women to get abortions. Like, they're not going to side for choice. And so that idea that choice is a reality for women, it's not about choice. It's really a euphemism and a code for abortion, because Planned Parenthood doesn't support when women choose life, because there's no money for them as an organization when women choose life.
Wow. So when was the moment that actually you had that epiphany, and what situation were you in that says, why am I on this side?
That led me to that, conversion. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I think for everyone, their conversions are different, and mine was really beautiful in the way in which God reached me. He knows us so intimately. He knows how and what will get our attention. And for me, the first thing that happened was I quote unquote, stumbled upon Catholic radio for the first time. I had no idea. I've baptized, raised a Catholic, and I obviously wasn't really practicing my faith when I was working for Planned Parenthood, but I didn't know Catholic radio existed, so I quote unquote stumbled upon it. I know it was the work of the Holy Spirit, in which I found that radio station. Wasn't looking for it or anything, I was just changing the channels, right? And at the moment when I landed on that radio station, they were talking about contraceptives being like as an abortifacient, right? Being capable of having abortifacient properties to them. And I thought, wow, wait a minute, this is interesting. This kind of challenges me on my own personal views on abortion, which were, I personally wouldn't have an abortion. I personally wouldn't advocate for people that I love, like my family or my kids, to have an abortion, but I believe in a woman's quote unquote right to choose, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so that idea that the contraceptive, hormonal contraceptive, that I was not only using myself for many years, but then also pushing on young girls that there was a potential for them to work as abortive patients, it challenged me on that. And so that was kind of where the first seed was planted. And then over time, God continued to reveal more and more things to me. I was kind of, at that point, tuned in to the radio and listening to all the arguments against Planned Parenthood, all the arguments for life, in defense of human life, things that I really hadn't really paid attention to before. And so that really struck a chord with me. And then there was a moment in which Live Action, I don't know if you're familiar with Lila Rose, I would think so. Lila Rose and her organization, Live Action, they released a series of undercover investigative videos from, I guess it would have been early of 2011, that showed Planned Parenthood employees across the country willing to cover up sex trafficking, underage sex trafficking. And that was the moment that I was like, hold on, what's going on here?
Right.
And then the subsequent response from Planned Parenthood is what really opened my eyes to what this organization is really about. And the way that they responded was that they trained us how to essentially not get caught. And that was extremely eye-opening. And then what followed from there was hearing an advertisement on the local Catholic radio station that a 40 Days for Life prayer campaign would be held, holding a vigil outside of my Planned Parenthood location during the Lenten campaign, so during the season of Lent. And I had, at that time, had never heard of 40 Days for Life before, didn't know anything about the organization, had no idea about this prayer campaign. And I thought this was kind of a sign from God, that he was trying to get my attention, and that he was giving me an opportunity to reach out for prayer. And that's what I did. On the third day of the vigil, I walked out and I asked a woman who was standing on the sidewalk praying if she would pray for me.
Wow.
And I told her I was unhappy. I didn't want to work there anymore. I didn't know what to do. And I just wanted them to pray for me. And the floodgates of grace opened up, and God continued to work overtime in my heart and in my soul. And then I ultimately was able to take the leap of faith and quit my job.
Wow. That's very courageous of you. And I think that prayer did it. That made you feel like that is the right choice to make, right?
Absolutely. Like I tell people all the time, I think there was the process, right? Like God was kind of working on me, softening me up, so to speak. But I do believe wholeheartedly that without the prayer, without the fasting, and the support from those who are involved in 40 Days for Life, it wouldn't have been possible, because that's what really gave me the grace and really the divine, strength to be able to take a leap of faith and walk away from that job, knowing that I didn't have anything else to go to, not knowing what we were going to do in terms of, my next paycheck. And then the really big miraculous moment was when I received notification that it was 3 months after I had quit, that the facility that I once managed would shut down permanently. And it went out of business.
Wow. Was it the same one of where we went and did the tour at the 40 Days for Life?
No.
It's the same, different one?
No, this is a different affiliate, yes.
Okay.
A different affiliate.
Wow. So do you have any questions? My co-host Juan Andrade is here, and this is Miss Ramona Trevino. Do you have any questions for her, Juan?
So how long were you at Planned Parenthood?
I worked there 3 years. I always tell people 3 years too long.
Right. But long enough to see what was it all about, because I've heard many women, young and older, saying that Planned Parenthood isn't just about abortion. It's also bringing up resources for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, when I think about 3 years, and I think about, obviously there's other people who have left the abortion industry who've worked there much longer. And I always praise God that I didn't work long enough to be directly involved with abortion, because, and I truly believe that this is God's hand in trying to protect me, because when I quit like in the month leading up to my resignation, we were beginning to transition to training us on telemed abortion. So I know that if I had stayed and I had not left, I would have been directly involved with helping women have medication abortions from our center. And praise be to God, I left and it went out of business before that happened. And I truly believe that was such a blessing from God, because I don't think that I would have been able to recover spiritually, emotionally, psychologically from that reality.
Right. Wow. I believe we have a caller. We're opening for questions and comments, and you are limited to your comments. So if you have a question, go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Thank you for holding.
Well, good evening. Good evening.
Hey, Vic, how are you?
Pretty good. Hey, you know, I was going to say to your guest, you know, the as far as abortion is concerned, you know, the eugenics program was legalized in Indiana through the help of the ministry in 1907. And that was with the help of the ministry. And that the sterilization really never ended until this, I think, 74. That's when the last of the sterilization legislation was actually wiped out in 1974. But that was initiated with the help of the ministry.
Were you able to hear that, Ramona?
Well, so when you're talking about, you know, like connect, you know, a woman's right to choose, you know, whether she wants to or not. I mean, the idea of putting any pressure on her in any kind of way, to me, is counterproductive. Unless you're trying to manipulate, you know, birth control. Well, you want to encourage mothers, of course. Mm-hmm. But, you know, to suggest that they're immoral or bad or sinners or criminals or somehow immoral beings because they don't want to carry a pregnancy, you know, I think that they're responsible.
Right.
So, do you have a question for our special guest?
No, just a general statement about, yeah, the question was about the Indiana, you know, the law, Indiana law was passed in 1907.
Okay.
That this is where the argument against birth control and family planning started with. And it got converted to, well, those people promoting birth control want to sterilize certain people.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it started with the ministry. It ended with 19th century, early 20th century. It was led by people, you know, to deem you inappropriate for perpetuating life.
Well, appreciate you sharing that information, Vic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great day.
Thank you. Call-in number is 219-885-1371. Preferably if you have a question for our guest. We're not asking you to educate us, but thank you for the information. I did not know, Vic. We have a young lady, Ramonia Trevino. She is calling out of Texas. She is the director of the outreach for the 40 Days for Life. So let's talk about for the 40 Days for Life. What is that all about? What is that organization really, its purpose, its mission?
Yeah, so 40 Days for Life has a very simple mission, which is praying for an end to abortion and changing hearts and minds. And 40 Days for Life, its inception was founded here in Texas in Bryan College Station in 2004 in response to an increase of abortions because of Planned Parenthood moving into town. And they noticed that all the efforts that they were making on the sidewalk weren't really very fruitful in helping reduce the amount of abortions that were taking place. And they decided that they would commit themselves to 40 days of fasting and prayer, as just simply utilizing the number 40 from the Bible, like the significance of 40 that has been used throughout all of Scripture. And so 40 Days for Life is really just founded on that principle of peaceful prayer and fasting and public witness. And of course, also another component is the public outreach and community outreach, rather. 40 Days for Life ended up becoming nationally coordinated in 2007. So people, you know, saw what was happening in Bryan College Station, wanted to be a part of it. And so everyone followed suit in 2007. And since then, it has expanded across the globe. We're now this fall, we will be in almost 700 cities worldwide.
Wow.
So these are it's a grassroots campaign, strictly volunteers, leaders who decide to bring a 40 Days for Life campaign visual to their community in their city and recruit people, other volunteers who are willing to stand peacefully and pray and fast for those 40 days in the hopes to see hearts and minds changed and lives saved. We've seen over 25,000 babies who have been saved since the 40 Days for Life campaign started. And those are the ones that we know of. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that number is way more than that. Mm-hmm. But those are confirmed saved. There's been over 200 facilities that have closed down and over 100 workers who have converted and left the industry as a result of the 40 Days for Life campaign.
Wow. So have you met or worked with Abby Rose? That's obviously the reason with 40 Days for Life, or one of the reasons, obviously, with Sean and his wife. And watch the movie. You guys have to watch it. It's called Unplanned, and that'll get you more educated as to what really happened with the 40 Days for Life. What was their previous name, if you can recall, Ramona? Right now, top of my head, I can't remember.
Abby Johnson.
Right, but the organization before it turned into 40 Days.
So before it was I think it was the Coalition for Life.
Yes.
The Texas Coalition for Life. So the group of with David B. Wright, Sean Carney, and others are the ones who founded it out of Bryan College Station. And it was in response to that particular Planned Parenthood that Abby Johnson directed. And interestingly enough, there were already other former abortion workers who had left and quit as a result before Abby ever quit working for Planned Parenthood. So there was, already there was results, in other words, before Abby Johnson. And then I think I was in the early, maybe 30 something number of workers. So it was, I came after that. I think Abby quit, I want to say in 2007 or 2008. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2008. And then I was entering into Planned Parenthood in 2008. And then I quit 2011. So it's been 14 years now. But since then, we're now well over 200 workers who have left.
Wow. And what I love the fact that when I went looking for the information as I was there in Texas through your event, through your symposium, was the fact that you're worldwide. I was like, wow, you have centers in Mexico. Qué bien. ¿Nos puede dar un poquito?
México,
Ajá. Go ahead.
Sí, no, en México estamos muy grandes. I mean, it's in Colombia, there's the majority of our visuals are in Mexico, Colombia, Latin America. And the response there has been just incredible. It has exploded in Latin America.
If you can, if not, that's fine. But if you can, ¿nos puedes dar información de esta campaña de 40 días para la vida? ¿Qué significa? ¿Por qué es que estamos haciendo esto globalmente?
Sí. Bueno, primeramente les quiero decir que mi español no es mi primer idioma, pero
échale ganas, está bien.
Sí, me encanta echarle ganas porque esto es muy importante para nuestra comunidad hispana, porque como usted sabe, y esto afecta mucho a nuestra comunidad hispana, porque atrás de la raza negra estamos segundos en la cantidad de abortos que se cometen a la gente. Entonces, si juntas la raza negra con la gente hispana, con la comunidad hispana, eso junto, ese combinado es más del 60% de todos los abortos. Wow. Creo que es como 63%.
Wow.
De todos los abortos.
Wow.
Y eso es porque eso es la meta de Planned Parenthood. Eso era la meta de Margaret Sanger, quien es la fundadora de Planned Parenthood. Ella era una racista. Ella quería eliminar a los inmigrantes y a la raza negra. Y eso es lo que necesitamos hacer, es combatir estos ideologías. Y lo hacemos pacíficamente. Eso es lo que quiero que la gente sepa, es que 40 días por la vida se inició porque ellos estaban viendo de que los otros métodos no estaban funcionando en la acera, no en la banqueta. no estaba funcionando, condenando a la mujer, gritando a las mujeres, y todo eso no funcionaba, no cambiaba nada. Y cuando iniciaron esta meta de estar pacíficamente presentes, rezando en ayunas por 40 días, es cuando descubrieron que sí hay resultados. Y es por eso que yo pienso que por eso Dios ha ayudado a expandir esta organización en todo el mundo.
Wow. Gracias, hermana Ramona Trevino, por el trabajo que hacen ustedes. Thank you for the work that you guys do. She was saying, did you say 63% combined African American and Latinos make up of number of abortions?
All the abortions.
Yes. Wow, that's a very high number. And you also said something key to say it also in English, because of the fact that many people,
the Planned Parenthood founder?
Yeah, exactly. And many people are blinded to say they're there for resources, they're there for contraceptives, they're giving us free protection to not get pregnant. Well, actually, abstinence is a safer way, but they don't understand the purpose. The true purpose was to depopulate, right?
Absolutely. And it's still the purpose. It's still the reason that Planned Parenthood expands its reach into Latin America, expands its reach into Africa. And thank God that we have funded international Planned Parenthood reach, by defunding the International Planned Parenthood Federation. We've stopped their efforts from moving into Mexico and all of the other Latin American countries, and where they want to bring those ideologies, push that ideology that somehow, having babies is bad, saying that they don't need to have more children, right? And so they're coming into some very pro-life countries where, you have a very pro-family, pro-life culture, and they want to bring in and they want to change that, and they want to enforce those ideologies, and they do it through that funding. And so, it's really a big deal when you take into consideration that we've been able to defund that the Trump administration, for all its flaws or however people feel about it, they've defunded, Planned Parenthood from those international funds. And, people have to stop and they have to educate themselves about who this organization is, who founded it, why they founded it, and what they're continuing to do under the guise of healthcare.
Wow. It's 39 minutes after the hour. The calling number is 219-885-1371. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello there. Good. You're on the air.
Yes, ma'am. I was just trying to find out from Rodeo Chris if he had enough vendors for the 10th annual.
I'm sorry. You're calling the wrong program. If you can call the office tomorrow, 219-885-1370, they would have the answer for you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. You're listening to Nuestra Comunidad, the only bilingual talk radio program of its kind. If you have a question to our special guest, she will be on just a few more minutes, educating us about the real reason Planned Parenthood was actually created. And there's a lot of myths and there's a lot of disbeliefs, and people really don't know the truth. And we're here to talk about the truth. So we're into the kickoff of 40 Days of Life, right, Ramona?
We're about to kick it off in the fall. It'll run through. So the kickoff date is September 24th, and it'll run through November the 2nd.
And what does that entail? What do people expect during those 40 days?
Yeah, so for the listening audience who may be interested in being involved in 40 Days for Life, you can visit 40daysforlife.com. That's the number 40 days, FOR, life.com. And there's a spot there where you can do 40daysforlife.com/location. But yeah, if you visit our website, you can go into the locations tab, type in your city, and then it'll pop up all the places on the map that are closest or nearest, or maybe even in your city, and where a current 40 Days for Life vigil will be taking place this fall. And through the website, someone can sign up to volunteer. If they have never been a part of it and are interested in doing so, they sign up to volunteer for an hour of prayer. And of course, the idea is to have an unending chain of prayer during the hours that have been set by the leader. Typically, they run about 12 hours a day. Some of them vary. Depends. It depends on different things, like can affect, the choice of the time. But typically, we do anywhere from 8 to 10 or 12 hours a day. We have some very rare cases where we have 24-hour vigils, which is incredible. But yeah, the idea is to just have that unending chain of prayer during those hours in which people sign up for an hour. They stand out on the sidewalk and just have that one-on-one prayer time with God for hearts and minds to be changed and for babies to be saved. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to partake in that. And obviously, you can imagine people ask, well, why can't I just pray from home or pray from church? And we say, yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
Right.
We don't ever want to stop praying, but why is it important to be on the sidewalk? And I'm, a witness to telling you, your presence on the sidewalk matters because number one, it brings awareness to the tragedy of abortion in the community. And number two, because when people see you out there, their hearts and minds and their souls are stirred, just like mine was. And I witnessed someone standing there praying for me, and had no one been on that sidewalk, I don't know if I would have ever actually took that leap of faith and quit my job.
Wow. Juanita, do you have any questions for Ms. Trevino?
About how many facilities are there?
How many
organizations are there?
Are you talking about Planned Parenthood or 40 Days of Life?
40
Days for Life? Oh.
Yeah, so I don't have the final number, official number, because we always have a few applications that trickle in right before the campaign, which is still happening right now. But we're close to 700 vigils in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Latin America, and across the globe.
And where does the organization get its funding from?
We are funded by donors.
It's
strictly donors, so we're a 501c3. We exist because our amazing donors support our work.
Right. And of course, if there's anyone that'd like to donate, where do they go? Go to their page, go to your page, 40daysforlife.org.
Yeah, 40daysforlife.com.
Or .com.
You can learn more about our history, learn more about our team, and just look at all the great work that we've been doing over the years.
Wonderful. Estamos hablando de la organización de paternidad planificada, donde se están cerrando esas clínicas porque típicamente la razón y el propósito para eso es para abortar a los bebés. Claro, la mujer tiene derechos, pero también el bebé tiene derechos. Así es que aquí la señora Ramona Trevino trabaja para el lado opuesto, que antes ella era una de las administrativas que tenía Planned Parenthood, donde ella estaba en el otro lado, donde no es que diga que estaba aconsejando abortos, sino estaba a favor de todos los servicios que estaban ofreciendo. Y el propósito, claro, es para bajar la población del afroamericano y latinos también, aunque muchos de ustedes no saben la verdad exacta. Yo les digo que vean la película Unplanned, no planificado en español. Y también vayan a la página de sitio de web que puede traducirse en su teléfono inteligente. We got smartphones, you can translate. Go to translate on your phone with the little 3 dots, donde están los 3 puntitos allí, y busquen donde dice traducir. Y se traduce en el idioma que quieran. You can translate it in the language you want, and so that way you are fully informed of what 40 Days of Life. La campaña comienza el 24 de septiembre hasta el, when did you say, October 1st? Hasta el 2 de noviembre. Hasta el 2 de noviembre, así es que aquí en Noreste de Indiana tenemos nuestra facilidad o organización de Lake County Right to Life, que es el derecho a la vida de aquí del condado de Lake. El 23 de septiembre tendremos también un evento para hablar de esa campaña que comenzamos el 24, es una vigilia y estamos buscando voluntarios para quien quiera presentarse y también ser parte de este movimiento para terminar el aborto. You know, we have to work on that, right? Any last minute things you'd like to mention here to our audience?
Yeah, just I think what I would mention to your audience is that we are in a very interesting time in which we've witnessed great victories in the overturning of Roe v. Wade, in the 1-year defunding of Planned Parenthood. And this is the time for us not to sit and be indifferent to this issue and to the tragedy of abortion and recognize that it is having a detrimental impact on everyone, and including our Hispanic population.
Wonderful. Any other questions, Juanito, before we let her go? Well, I look forward to seeing you once again, Ramona. I'm sure that you have been or will be invited to come on out here to Northwest Indiana and the region. There are several facilities or places that you can join for my Chicagoans, my suburban people. If you go into the website, you would just type in your zip code. Our address is here in Maryville to view the campaign in Maryville, September 24th to November 2nd. That would be at the vigil location of Planned Parenthood in Maryville, 8645 Connecticut Street in Maryville. There are several locations for the vigils in Chicago and the suburbs around. So if you're interested in being part of our prayers, prayer does work, folks. There's power in prayer, right? And so, en español, invita a toda la comunidad, por favor, Ramona.
Sí, que no se quedan indiferentes a tragedia que es el aborto, que por favor, búscanos en 42porlavida.com y inscríbete y ve a la acera a rezar y estar unidos no solo con la comunidad de ustedes, pero la comunidad de todo el mundo, que estamos todos unidos en este 40 días.
Así es. Gracias, Ramona. Thank you so much, Ramona, for what you do. I appreciate you. God bless you. Love you, sis, and continue to do God's work. You have a blessed evening. Thank you.
And thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome. We're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It's 47 minutes after the hour. Ya estamos aquí para terminar nuestro programa, Juanito. Time flies. Wow. I mean, we're looking at October already. My goodness. You ready to party? Yeah, you ready to party? That's what I'm thinking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to a Catholic church in Lake County, Indiana, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to a Catholic church, probably I would say Northwest Indiana and maybe even beyond, I don't know. But either on a Tuesday or early Tuesday or early Friday in the month of November, we are going to be having on Nuestra Comunidad, Northwest Indiana, not one, but maybe two special officials out of not necessarily the diocese, but the deanery. Am I correct? There's a deanery of North Lake, I think. But you know what? And I don't bring the paperwork in terms of who those two officials, if I could say that without seeing, I didn't bring the paperwork with me. But the whole thing is this: churches are closing in East Chicago. Catholic churches, I'm going to put it this way: Catholic churches are closing in East Chicago, Hammond, and Whiting, and beyond. So, Colleen, I forgot her last name right now. She's the communications director for the Diocese of Gary. So I think arrangements have been made already. Now it's just a question of confirming a date in early November. And I don't know if they're going to be here in person or by telephone or whatever the case may be. It's time for the diocese, it's time for the deanery to inform the communities about why these Catholic churches are closing, beyond that there's a shortage of Catholic priests. There's more than that. So
probably a funding issue
they have
too,
made arrangements,
and the number of congregations.
Congregants. So they made arrangements, so to speak, early November. Please stay tuned. As soon as they get back to me on the date, whether it's a Tuesday evening or a Friday morning, not a Friday morning, a Friday evening in early November, we'll get that information out on our Facebook, on everywhere else, because this is going to be a very important, informative interview, and there'll be an opportunity for everyone to tune in and to ask questions. So please stay tuned for that.
Mm-hmm. And also, I'm not sure, I think I'm safe to say, vendor calls, where they're looking for vendors who celebrate and represent Hispanic culture through arts, crafts, clothing, music, or other unique offerings. Join them or join us, because I think I'm going to be there, co-emceeing with Marino. Join us at Viva El Sol on Thursday, September 25th, and be part of a vibrant cultural celebration. For more information or to apply, call 219-397-2453, extension 33. 219-397-2453, extension 33. Food vendors not being accepted at this time. So again, they may still be needing vendors, not food, vendors to celebrate represent Hispanic culture. Viva El Sol, long live the culture. Seeking vendors that represent Hispanic culture. So again, this is the 25th. That's Thursday, the 25th So be part of that and celebrate with us. Yes, yes, yes. Also, Victory for Kids is doing it once again. Victory for Kids. And I want to say to Regina, if she's watching, Dr. Regina Beard, happy birthday to, yeah. You know, I'm not a singer, but happy birthday. I know that you're celebrating this weekend. You probably didn't expect this to be out there publicly, but I love you. I appreciate all that you're doing for our youth, for our schools, being that change agent, being the change that you want to see. You stepped up, grabbed the baton, and ran with it. You said yes to your calling, and I thank you, Dr. Regina Beard, for doing what you do. And of course, guys, we are looking for vendors that they are now going to have their next, when I mean they, I'm talking about Victory for Kids, is having their next event at Porter County, the Porter County Youth Healthcare Expo, and that's September 30th, October 1st and 2nd. Calling schools, students, and healthcare exhibitors to be part of an exciting day filled with career exploration, hands-on workshops, and real conversations with healthcare professionals. We are still looking for vendors. Go to the website. That's victoryforkids.net. Victory, the number 4, kids, KIDZ as in zebra.net. To sign up. If you are a school that wants to, look, I encourage teachers, administrations, principals, take your students there. And she is starting them at 3rd grade. You know, just like we say, it's important to pass your reading, pass your math in 3rd grade. It's so important to also tap their interest or what they may like. They look so cute with the little lab coats. So shout out to Victory for Kids, the whole entire team. And so they do hands-on workshops. I mean, I didn't even know. Do you know how they train them and practice how to suture, how to sew stitches, you know, for a cut? Do you know how they do it? I was like, my mouth dropped thanks to one of these career expos that I happened to be there in person. And I was like, wow, what do you need those bananas for? Suturing. They were sewing bananas, and they do apples as well. So Tuesday, which is September 30th, 3rd to 5th graders. Wednesday, October 1st, 6th through 8th graders. And the last day, October 2nd, 9th through 12th grade. So they meet hospitals, clinics, universities, healthcare leaders, banks, explore 25 plus healthcare career paths, interactive session, and simulations for students. They inspire the next generation of healthcare heroes. So thank you, VU, for allowing this to take place at your facilities. Nursing and health professions, we appreciate you. That's at 1700 Chapel Drive, Valparaiso, Indiana. 1700 Chapel Drive, Valparaiso, Indiana. So if you follow me on social media, you'll find a flyer there. Scan it, register your school or register your business. If you are a healthcare provider, we're not talking about just dentists, doctors, nurses, phlebotomists. I mean, healthcare as far as therapists, counseling. I mean, it's a huge gamut of different professions under healthcare. So we want to thank Powers Health, Walgreens for being major sponsors or partners rather with Victory for Kids. And Dr. Regina, I want to thank you once again for what you do. And Ivy Tech is also supporting it. Let's see. I mean, we have a slew of different partners, and we are always looking for more vendors and partners to continue to make a difference and tap the interest into our youth, because sometimes our kids don't know what they want to do until you show them something and you're like, wow, this captured my attention. This captivated my mind. So again, go to Victory, the number 4 kids, KIDZ with a zebra.net. Find out that information, sign in. The expo is in Valparaiso. And I know there was more announcements, but I'm going to announce them on my social media. Follow me, Google me, and I am here to help in any way that I can, so long as I'm able to. With that, don't forget, say the date when, Juanito?
October the 30th.
October the 30th. So we'll see you Tuesday at 7 p.m. Nos vemos el día 7. Digo, el día de octubre a las 7. Oye, yo el día de octubre, el martes a las 7. Nos vemos. Hasta luego. See you guys. Love ya. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Feliz fin de semana. Come on, Juan. Look at this.